Peace, peace, peace.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
pretty good. How about yourself?
I am well. I am well. Getting settled in for the evening, so I cannot complain.
Man, I know you're a busy woman, so I appreciate you taking out the time.
It's mostly kids, man. I swear it's mostly kids. And I didn't realize how much it was going to be up under me all the time, right? But it's good.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, it's good to see you, though.
Yeah,
Long
it's been
time.
a minute. It's been
Yeah,
a minute.
yeah,
So,
it's a real minute. Yeah.
like in the conversation earlier, man, I really want to get us back to, us having the groupings and rituals and all that stuff there, and just doing us, man. I miss that. I
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah, yeah.
miss that.
I love it. It's you don't realize how much you miss it until you get back in it, right?
Yep.
So I was
Yep.
able to do one from the class I just finished, and that was their very first one. So I gave them like the basics and stuff, and they did really, really well. Spirit showed up and did his thing per usual,
Okay.
and you know what thing I really enjoy is the fact that it don't take long, man. We just get in and out. You know what I mean? You say the prayer, boom, razzle
That's it.
dazzle, time to eat. You know what I mean? So it's been really, really good. But hopefully, next year I'll be able to have a property. I can have people come and stay and do it right. So it's been a minute. So yeah, yeah. Looking forward to doing more of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's really good.
Well, like I said earlier, you don't have to wait for that. I will open my house to try, and we could just do our thing, man. So, but I'm eager to see what you got going on. I know it's great. I've heard great things, and I've been meaning to call you
Good.
much sooner. And just to say, congratulations. I saw your ebook. I don't know if
Thank
you
you.
want to
Thank
if you
you.
want to put a shameless plug. It's
Oh
all love here.
yeah. So I just dropped my first ebook, Higher Self Harmony. It is a book on perspective about how to use Tantra and shamanism to unleash the power within so you can really, really take hold of your life. Because it's like having two hands, but only using one finger off each hand. That's how we're moving around here. But when we tap into our energy and actually apply it to everyday things, you can make things happen like really easy. So when I was at Vest Fest this past weekend, I just did my power to win a raffle, and that was like a $10,000 pre-made business. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like, it was just on a humbug. It wasn't even like I really wanted to win. It was just, and the more I've been fine tuning these little techniques and working on my own energy and just living a good life, being a righteous woman, quote unquote, right? you know,
Yeah.
and whatever that means, right? But yeah, y'all check it out. It's good because I know a lot of people when they see my work, they don't know what I'm doing. They're like, "Are you doing witchcraft? What are you doing? Is this some kind of magic trick? Is this some kind of like this? What is you doing?" Right? So I am explaining a little bit more of that and the concept of tantra as a braiding mechanism, right? So tantra means to weave. And really all it is any act of when we're trying to get things to work together. So it's just the art and the science of harmonizing. You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yep.
And you can harmonize anything. So whether it be your relationship, your work life, um, making yourself more prone to win things, making yourself more likable, whatever it is, getting over stuff, you can use it for that. And it don't got to be woo woo. It don't have to be all this stuff. It's just like the way we're built. So that's what my book is about. Check it out. The link is in my bio.
So please check out her page. If you aren't already a friend, requests, check out the book. Um, Dara really set point for me when I'm still a baby compared to her, to these tantra spaces. But when I first got into it, we had a plant-based ceremony, and she led that thing. And I got into the whole tribe, cool ass motherfucker. Everybody was just cool. When I got into the tribe, I was like, "Are we gonna just say a few Hail Marys and then we're gonna be out?" Nah, nah. Wasn't no few Hail Marys and we weren't gonna be out. It was really, it was really fellowshipping at the highest point. It was really love at the highest point. But it was really me having the experience to feel sex energy more so than just reading about it. So
Mm-hmm.
you read about the things that, even what Adar just said, you know, just manifesting the things that you want and having the creative energy and transmuting and putting that into action and doing all these things. And that sounds great. But when you get a chance to actually feel it, see it, and then it
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
the spirit takes over you,
yeah.
it's a
It's
whole
different.
different ball.
It's different. It's different. It's different. And you know, it's almost impossible to hear it and be like, what? I don't even know if that's something I want to open myself up to. I don't know what y'all really talking about with family. So what we're talking about for real, is that the fact that you have an access to ecstasy whenever you want. And it's the same thing that created sex, which is why sex puts you in ecstasy.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And you don't have to have sex to experience it. You don't have to do whatever. You definitely can and should, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's like I, I don't even really know what to put it in, how to put it into words, because it's life force energy, right? So people talk about Kundalini and all this stuff. Life force energy, the energy of your life is the energy of being alive, is the sensation of being alive, is desire that comes with being alive. It's all of this stuff all balled into one. And there's a million ways to express it. You can express it into wanting to be more spiritual. You can express it into wanting to be more wealthy and abundant. You can express it just being a peaceful person who loves the garden, and you put that love into your plants. Right. But it's the same thing. So when you feel the essence of that and that takes you into bliss, that's what we're talking about. Right. And so this is specific. It's a specific connotation I put on energetics.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of unique. And
Oh, it's
the
unique.
it's unique. Right. But it's only because people wouldn't know unless you experience it. Like there's no way to put it into words. And I guess I'm just gonna let you keep asking me questions because otherwise I'm just gonna like,
Well, I want
you know,
to chime in on the uniqueness, right?
yeah.
So I remember in the ceremony, um, how we took, you know, I'm just going to say plant based because I don't know if people, I don't want to scare folks away. I think most of us are cool with understanding mushrooms and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And us ingesting things for deities and representing those things for prosperity, for just giving and honoring the deities and stuff like that. But when we got into it, it was like you were, if we could, I don't want to say circus, but it was just like you were the ringleader and
Yeah.
you literally controlled the energy as it
Yeah.
flowed in. Y'all
Mm.
brought it in and you can hear, you can see. And then once I'm starting to see and hear all these things going on, I'm like, what the hell? And then I got hit. It's like, oh, shit. I remember, I forgot my boy's name. But I remember I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm loving it. I'm like, me too, shit. And we were getting fucked, but we weren't having sex, right? And it was such an amazing feeling. And it's such a safe feeling once you're around people that you love and trust that you can allow yourself to open up and surrender, right? And not a lot of people are allowing themselves to surrender. Just we can just talk about sex in general. So many people in my practice that I'm working with aren't allowing themselves to surrender and just to
Mm-hmm.
get into their body and just enjoy the moment of enjoying dick, enjoying pussy, enjoying the necessary things. And so we can't enjoy that. It's going to be hard for you to get to the higher level stuff. Now, it's not going to, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can help somebody reach that easier than I can. But um,
That's right.
it's it's just a thing that you really have to experience. My friend said, we were another therapist. She was talking about we were talking about a hard client that a client that was just hard to have sex with her partner, and she just got to go see. We've already taught her everything that we could teach her. She got to go see, and here in these
Mm-hmm.
tantric spaces, seeing is believing and feeling all that, and you
Absolutely.
know I really would love to have you out here. We need to go out and see you more and have that experience again.
Absolutely.
If y'all in the audience and you haven't gone to any one of her ceremonies, you're missing out on a large part of life. It's definitely something to experience for sure.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
yeah,
thank you, thank you. So, I know we have like probably like a lot of people that are like new to our conversation. So I'm just gonna preface a little bit kind of what we're saying, right? So, like what we were just saying, people don't allow themselves to feel pleasure anywhere. When I say pleasure, just feeling good in their body. Like you gotta think, some people were raised to believe that you're doing more for God when you suffer. You see what I'm saying? Or that you can only feel good after you achieve whatever goal. Or when you do feel good, it's bad and you're going to get shamed for it. It's all these different things. Or they don't have time to even consider themselves enough to feel pleasure. Boom, boom, boom. So this is just like on a regular single day life. You want to get something, you won't buy it for yourself because you got to be disciplined, all this stuff, which is amazing. Like discipline is amazing, right? But when we think about it in the human system, like I was talking about last week, we have the stress and we have the fight and flight stuff, but we also have the rest and the digest, the feed and breathe situation, right? And honestly, I can't really fault people for not being able to allow themselves for pleasure all the time because psychologically, you're not going to feed and breathe when there's still a threat. And if you feel like there's not a place for you to feel secure or you're not trusting in some area, you're never really going to get the signal chemically for you to relax and whatever else. So that's when your stress is high, your libido is down, right? Or when you're stressed, you're tense. When you're tense, you're constricting and you can't feel as much, right? All this type of stuff. Your jaw clenches, all this stuff. What your jaw is doing, your pelvis is doing, your hips is doing, and it's just not reciprocal. You know what I mean? But yeah, because it's trying to solve a problem. But the thing is, it doesn't know what the problem is, so it just keeps giving you these signals and hope that you figure out what it is. But the problem ain't always physical. Sometimes it's energetic. Sometimes it's the fact that you are getting inklings from yourself to make a decision, make a change, and you won't do it. And it's nudging you as much as you want. You call it your guardian angels, you can call it your guides, you can call it your natural wisdom within your body that says, bitch, make a change, and you're not doing it. You see what I'm saying? And it's just weighing on you. So that could be you being in a job that you don't want to have anymore, a relationship, diet, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Smoking, whatever it is. So when we do things that give ourselves pleasure in certain ways, and I'm not talking about artificial chemical pleasure. I'm not talking about that. And I'm not talking about pleasure that's trauma driven. I'm not talking about that pleasure either. I'm talking about stuff that actually works well with the human system. So we give ourselves time to sleep 8 hours. You work better the next day, don't you? When you get a chance to take 5 days off from work, you come back refreshed, and now your mind's clear. You can do all this type of stuff like that. Energetically, that's the same thing that we're doing. We're rewiring the body. I mean, we're going through the body to rewire the brain to let us know what's okay and what's not. So we're learning to give ourselves permission. So you can give yourself permission sexually, like we're talking about, and be willing to touch some pussy and some dick and have a good time and say what you want or don't say what you want. And there's a lot that goes into that, like the person you with being judgmental and not letting you do so there's context to everything, right? But
absolutely.
at the essence, you want to be able to or be willing to have these experiences. And then as you move up the level of, I don't know, let's say hierarchy of needs. So the first one is like survival and all that basic stuff. And once you get that covered, now you do emotional development, mental, spiritual development. As you do that, you enjoy pleasures of a different level. Like I deeply enjoy meditation. I deeply enjoy good conversation. I deeply enjoy being in silence and nature. And I deeply enjoy being in ritual. And I deeply enjoy static sex. And I don't deeply enjoy regular sex. It's okay. I like a little lazy, but you still gotta have a little bit of something to it, right? So all we're talking about is taking these steps, looking at ourselves and learning about ourselves, and then using Tantra as a way of bringing it together so it all works nice. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. And I ask everybody this, so I have to ask you as well. When it comes to having multiple orgasms or high level orgasms, what is that experience like for you?
Okay, don't mind my laugh, family. I'd be kind of crazy.
I'm gonna just go ahead and get this thing kicked off.
Well, sometimes, okay, hold on. Because, like, when I think about it, it takes me back to those moments, right? And so it's multiple kind, right? There's this kind when there's like you're about to like die, and you don't know if you're gonna die, but you're gonna kind of wondering if you're gonna see if you're gonna die. That's really where a lot of women like get shut down because, like, even in the squirting preface, it feels like your bladder might be about to explode for some women or whatever else, and then you have all this energy doing all of this stuff, and your titties just doing shit, and you're like, then just stop. But if you like can learn to surrender and breathe into it, then stuff just start firing off, and you might
Absolutely.
die. You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? But then when you, yeah, and it then starts moving through the body. So there's that kind. But then there's also kind of super subtle, like you're just sitting there and you just automatically just, and those become all over the place. You can have one of your eye adhered at the same time. You have these tears because everything is so beautiful. It's just coming together and like, why does this man love me so much? Or why does God love me so much? It is those things, right? Then there's the crying ones. Not that kind of cry. Another kind of cry. Where it's just like
Take your time, baby. Take your time.
because some of them is like it's almost like a scream of liberation. You know? Like because sometimes we really fighting through some things. And in the sexual act, the friction that we feel, the pressure that we feel is a metaphor for something that we're going through in life, right? And for me, I'm a person that quote unquote holds their lady seed, right? I don't climax a lot. That's because I do energetic cultivation and all this stuff like that. So especially when I'm like working on something, like when I did my class, I did the Gathering the Masters, I did a bunch of stuff and I did intensive. So I didn't have a climax for probably like maybe like 4 months. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of that, then I know that I can rest and relax and allow my energy to dissipate, right? Because I'm condensing energy. When you climax, your energy starts wafting off. That's why you feel the come off of you. Literally, it really is energy wafting off of you. You know what I mean? But when you get to the end of that thing that you've been working on and it came to fruition, and then you're actually like celebrating yourself, it's like we're crossing the finish line. And sexually, that's really powerful because I noticed that I have more enlightening experiences when that happens. And it kind of opens the doorway into me kind of seeing what's next, right? And I learned a lot of lessons through, well, I guess I'll call it ecstatic sex or transcendental sex or trancing out during sexual experiences. And it's phenomenal. Like, there's literally a place where it's like a door that opens.
Come on, take us to that place. Take us to
Yeah.
that place.
Dark, all dark, right? Yeah. No, but seriously, like, um, as a receiver, right? As a receiver, because there's all kinds of people that listen. As a receiver, there's a place where you just got to give in, and you might have literally got beaten to submission. And for me, like my eyes roll back, I'm looking up, and I'm like, I feel my body, but I don't feel it as much. You see what I'm saying? But I feel something stirring, and it's coming, and like I can either go somewhere or I can let something come. And because I've done so much work with connecting my heart and my womb and my mind and all these parts of myself, my different bodies, like I've done different, very esoteric classes, family. I've done some very esoteric classes that deal with diamond bodies and all kind of stuff, right? Like creating light and all kind of shit, right? So I'm very well versed in moving in my non-physical energy and being aware of what's going on in this thing and this thing at the same time. And there's a place, man, like ladies, when you like really tap into like this inner feminine and you like so we're working together,
Right.
right? And I'm receiving, and the energy gets big, and it gets big, I give it back to you. You receive and go through your process, it gets big for you, give it back to me. So we've gone through this cycle a couple of times. And at a certain point, it hits a fever pitch where the energy starts to open up or go to another octave. And that's when that door I'm talking about starts opening. And
See, hold on, pause, pause. That's the shit I was feeling like in the ceremony without actually having somebody being inside of somebody. It was okay, everybody's in there sitting down and we're sitting there talking, and then you're giving the speech of what's to come, and you're letting us know when it hits, it's gonna hit. I'm just like, I'm ready for the Hail Marys. Just let's say Hail Marys and let's get the hell out of here. And it really hit another octave.
if it was
And
an
I'm just
octave,
like, what the fuck is going on? I'm literally getting fucked. And
yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah.
And
And really, go ahead, please, go ahead, please.
the thing about it is you were just talking about receiving and giving. You literally gave it out to everybody and we gave it right back.
Mm-hmm.
It was this beautiful back and
Mm-hmm.
forth. And
It's a dance.
you can see the energy with different people.
Yeah.
Some women ended up having orgasms, some screaming orgasms, some people, just
Mm-hmm.
feeling it all through the body, the
Mm-hmm.
spirit just moving and winding,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you start to see men also actually having them. And that's a conversation that's not really had is men having high level orgasms,
It's so
multiple orgasms,
beautiful. It's so
extended
beautiful. It's
orgasms.
so beautiful.
And
It's so beautiful.
like, why isn't that a common conversation?
I wanted, for multiple reasons, right? I don't think that society wants y'all to know that you can do it, first off. And if y'all were to experience that on a regular basis, they wouldn't be able to sell y'all whatever mental prison that they're going to sell you, right? Because you would tap into the same infinite consciousness that I'm tapping into, and you'll be able to see that all this shit is bullshit. So, for like we're talking about, we took some plant medicine, right?
Yeah.
You make DMT when you're having sex. You can make DMT while breathing. We are
Meditating.
all we're doing is tapping into our own natural psychedelic ability. You see what I'm saying? So if you're able to do that on the regular in a healthy way that can um, reorganize your brain patterns and do all the other stuff, then all the shit they're trying to sell us ain't gonna work. So they're gonna create a space where men feel like they only have to be a tool in sex, and women are only going to be demanders of sex, and women are not we're not taught really how to please men, just like y'all ain't really taught how to please women. Like there's some conversations about it, but I work with a lot of men and women, and both sides are saying folks don't know what's happening or what to do. People don't know how to touch. People don't know how to slow down. Guys say I'm gonna try to be sensual with my woman and take my time and work her body, and she's saying pound me and why is you touching me so soft, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that get into why men are not having those kinds of experiences. But then also the idea of what's masculine, right? Like the number of guys who still will make noise when they nut is crazy. Well, that
Crazy.
should make you more masculine to be silent, family. I want to hear it. Let me know I did a good job. I have an ego too. You know what I mean? I have ego too. And then at the same time, you're releasing the energy, like you're putting it back into the circuit, and we feed off of each other. So if you're literally holding back, then how else is that translating in our relationship? You see what I'm saying? And even if you're not consciously holding back, if you think that some portion of you being a man means to hold back something from your woman because I can't handle the expression of it, then we're not having a real relationship, honestly. And I only know a portion of you, and that's not fair. But if I'm doing it too, now we got two pieces of a pie, and the shit ain't never gonna work. It might work, but is it gonna be the most optimum, auspicious thing, man? We're trying to have for in my world, I'm trying to create the best version of whatever it is. So I don't see why I should be with you and it suck. Like there should be a win-win for both of us. If you're with me, I think it's my boo maintenance job to make sure you're having the best life possible that I can provide. And I hope you feel the same for me. And if we both do that and we both want peace, and I genuinely want you to have a beautiful life. And when you're not here no more, you can say, damn, I did that life. I did my job as a partner. And all that other shit, It's just weird. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's weird. So I got off topic, but that.
No, but that's, I mean, it needs to be said. You know, we need to have the conversation about orgasms and the things that they do for the human body, the physical body, the energy body, the light body, and the
Mm,
other bodies.
yeah,
But if we don't even get to all
it's
that, the things you can
medicine.
do at the physical level is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And it's
Yeah,
just the word weird is absolutely true. It's so weird that men can't have a conversation about having multiple orgasms. We feel like we can't have it. I went
yeah.
I went with my partner to a Kevin Hart concert, comedy show in Oklahoma, and one of the comedians was just like, it might have been him. He's like, men can't have multiple orgasms. I'm like, you shitting me? I have one. Grand Trine showed me I could have them. I didn't know I could until I fucked with Grand Trine. Until I
For
had that
real.
plant-based ceremony, they said, "Hey, look at here, fella. Go ahead and open this door up. Try something new on us." And I said, "Thank you."
Yeah, for real. Like people have no idea what's possible. Like I hear some people's conversation, and this is not a fight to anybody, but like I've been with my partner going on 9 years now, I think. Nine, almost 10 years. And not to put his business on the street, but it's it's good for him, right? But oftentimes we know it doesn't go down. So me being with him for however many years, I think it's just a normal occurrence. I'm at a play party where I'm helping out as a staff and stuff, and this guy was like, "Yeah, one time I did this, and did it." I'm like, I thought this is a rare occurrence, and all the guys were like, "Oh man, yeah." I was like, I thought that men all were having this experience. I didn't realize it's so few. You know, I didn't realize how few women, well, I do, but if you think about how few women's nipples actually work, right? Or how many men, whatever, who's numb, all this different stuff. It's so much that goes on to, which is what baffles me about why people are so afraid to have sexual conversations. Almost everybody is having it, whether they're having it with themselves, with somebody else, watching somebody else, something. You have some kind of relationship with it. And a lot of people have traumas around it. A lot of people are uncomfortable around it and even more uneducated about it. So why are we so spooky about talking about it? I mean, I think part of it is the fact that dirty things are more sexy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And the taboo of it, right? Because that's definitely a thing. But you know, even in relationships, I've spoken to a lot of people, and I'm like, you can't have the freaky sex with your partner. You have to have that's the side piece thing, or that's something you did with people before. But you can't do all your freaky fantasy things with your partner. And I'm like, how is this relationship ever gonna fucking last? Like, how?
Because a lot of the time, especially what you say in religious spaces, anything that is to be desired has to be pure. But it's just weird because sex can be nasty, it can be dirty, it can be so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that you're this dog ass person and you ain't shit, right? You just simply had a pleasurable moment and it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But to assign that to like a purity based mindset that everything has to be just right,
Yeah.
everything has to be, you can't have diabetes and have
Yeah.
great sex, right? You
Yeah.
can't have cancer and you have to be in your right mind, in the right body. No, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can be disabled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have
Mm-hmm.
high level orgasms. It calls
Mm-hmm.
for everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, society feels like it has to be just right, and we want to minimize and restrict us from actually getting to the great things. And just like you said, if they did that if society educated men on the greats and the wonders of a multiple orgasm or an extended sexual response, men would definitely understand what healthy masculinity looks like, feels like, and we'd be ready to set it up for the women that we're fucking and making love to more consistently.
I love
Um,
that. Can I ask you an honest
yeah,
question?
what's
From
up?
a male perspective, because you know how men think and I don't. What percentage of men do you think would OD on it and just make it real weird and just be like in their room fucking trying to have?
We're competitive beings. We be like, nigga, hey, I'm trying to have multiple orgasms today. I'm gonna go. We need to get us. We need to call Adara out, and we need to go ahead and set it up. And then that whole weekend, I'm just gonna have it for about 48 hours. You talking about you
See,
gonna have it for 72? I got. All right, I'm gonna do 73 hours. All right, and this
see.
is what we're gonna do. This is
And this
how
one
we're
we don't
going to do it.
care, y'all.
We're going to make it a game, and it's beautiful to get it, but you're taking away from the actual event if you make it a game. But yeah, if men did understand how to have, in large part, in a number of cultures, we understand how to do it and where to go to get it. But if we understood where to go to have multiple orgasms, yeah, it'll be a
Mhm.
drug, but it's a good drug.
It's a
It's
it's a
it's
it's a good
it's a
drug. I mean, it
good drug.
requires discipline
Yeah.
for sure, because
We'll say medicine.
dopamine.
We'll
Yeah,
say
yes,
medicine because
yes, it's
drug
indeed a
has
medicine.
has a connotation I don't even want to associate it with these spaces. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's medicine that we need for sure.
yeah. And with that, we always have to do like the disciplinary aspect. And this is why the spiritual portion is so important, family, because it's intoxicating, right?
Yeah.
Arousing can be intoxicating, and especially to like these levels that we're talking about, it can be very intoxicating. So going back to the event that Mr. Boris is speaking of, so I'm a shaman. I'm a tantric shaman. I was using that opportunity to practice something that I had been given by my guides and stuff like that. For people who don't know what a shaman is a spiritual liaison, right? I also lead ritual and all that stuff, and I create experience. So my job is to see if I can be a clean bridge between whatever on this non-seen side can teach, can come and teach the people on this side, whatever it is, right? So I have been working on tapping into bliss, and this is going into working with the heart and the soul and all this type of stuff, and some sacred geometry and all this other, stuff. So that particular ritual, I was trying to see if I think if I was trying to see. I knew I could, but I wanted to see what was going to happen when this thing did. So, how many guys was in there?
It was a lot. It was a lot because it was my spiritual line came through there, and I think it was probably about 15 minimum of
Yeah,
us, and then there were other people there from Grand Trine that's been
yeah,
there for years, and
yeah,
so it was a lot. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the first times that I realized about like the different personalities that are with me or energies that are with me that all the time. I don't even realize it. It's so subtle. But the inclination I have to do certain things and where certain things is led by them. But anyway, I poured a very special libation. I said a prayer for people to experience bliss within their hearts, and also to really feel what harmonization feels like. And that's what sex feels like. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I was being fucked. You have a masculine side and a feminine side, and they're coming together. That's what sex is. I'm a woman, he's a man. We come together. It was just happening within itself and happening from this physical side to this upper side and from everywhere around it. And that's what's going on. And that's why people be irrevocably changed, because you're like, damn, I didn't realize that I could be in this much alignment and that it would feel like this, because the way people make spirituality seem, it has to be so holy and pious. Like, nah, you know what I mean? Nah, like you can have fun with it. And this whole desire thing, that desire ain't always yours. Like, desire is built into the system, family. Like, desire is in the air.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That shit just in the air like particles. Desire, arousal, attraction. This is where ideas and stuff comes from. They're informational influences, just like there are pheromones in the air and all kinds of things. Like, there's a lot going on that we can't see, y'all. So when we actually slow down a little bit to see what we can see, we see a lot. And slow down and feel what we can feel. You feel a lot. And then breathe. That's all it takes. Slow down, feel, and breathe. You're gonna get it. You really are.
And that's the benefit of understanding abundance mindset versus
Mm-hmm.
scarcity. When you get
Mm-hmm.
to the point when it's just, and I'm here now because my bookings is crazy, and so now I have to give myself an exit plan or a stopping plan to not work so hard. But
Yeah.
I got to get this money, got to eat, right? But
Yeah.
I understand that it has to come to an end where I'm hustling so hard. because I'm not going to be able to understand how important it is to soak up all the things around me that I can't see, and the gratitude in achieving and receiving all that, right? Because I
Mm.
have feminine energy in me as well and around me as well as a man. But just understanding that I need to reduce the scarcity mindset and be in abundance and finding some balance and
Mm-hmm.
maintaining that balance is so important, because just like Adara is saying, all these things that are around us that we can't see, we can't obtain that if we don't allow ourselves to open up and get it. And so, yeah, it's very important.
It's
But for those
real
who
important.
are tuning in, oh, go
No,
ahead, you about to say something?
please, go ahead.
Those
Go
who are
for it. You
tuning
think?
in, and she was just talking about the ceremony. I don't know if you've ever watched P Valley. I'm gonna just go and put this out there. But if you saw Uncle Cliff and how he had power over everybody at murder night. Now it wasn't murder night, but it was definitely, she had control over the crowd, and it was a beautiful thing. And it's nothing wrong with her having control over the crowd, because we trust her. We opened up to her. She gave us love, and we gave it right back. And
Mm-hmm.
with that, we were able to ascend. We were able to feel the things around us, and we were able to have orgasms. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us actually could have done all that. I wasn't checking people's dance or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hold on, player. Hold on,
That's
let me, like, I went, that's weird, right? But
funny.
some people absolutely had them, right? And then others, as you discussed earlier, there were tears, could have been hair standing up on the skin, could be sweating,
Mm-hmm.
a
Some
number of
people were
other
fighting it.
responses,
Yeah.
and you could see some people, if when they're going into it, you can see the veins in their arms, they're actually having a real experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, man, it's something you have to experience, and this is the woman to help you get there. So, it's a beautiful thing. So I had to have her on, and for the people that are also just tuning in, I was talking about that experience and how that opened up men, especially me, to the understanding of what extended sexual responses feel like, multiple orgasms, long term feel like, right? I remember having a discussion with my friend, and I told him I had this experience. He's like, man, you came for 15 minutes. I was like, nah, bro, I didn't come for 15 minutes, bro. Right? That's not happening. But
Bless
it
his heart,
was it was a
child.
wave I was riding, and it was intense feeling all over my body, and it was definitely the veins through my arms. They were exposing themselves. It was an
Mm-hmm.
experience that I just never understood was real. And then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I was able to have multiple orgasms with my partner once I was able to identify how it felt. And I have Grand trying to thank for that. But I wasn't able to have that with my partner or partners before that. I thought I did, right? Having sex, and you came back to back, that's good. But it's that, and then a lot of things much higher than that. And
Yeah.
so you will never know until you, you know, get the opportunity to apply the knowledge, or if you don't know what tantra is and energy based spaces look and feel like, this is where you go. This is the person you need to see. Or if you want to come, if you're in Texas, I do table work. I haven't been doing table work in a minute. I'm about to get back to it. But, those are the opportunities for you to absolutely have multiple orgasms. And so,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so I just wanted to kind of rope the people in that were just a little bit late, some of the late
Yeah,
stragglers.
I wanted to ask you a question about that. So, how did the women experience? Like, how do they perceive you having a multiple orgasm? Like, what did they know what was happening?
So I had a girlfriend, a long distance girlfriend at the time, and she knew about me coming to, Grant to ATL and all this stuff there, and she
You know,
was very
ATL for
supportive.
that
That's
freak
one.
shit.
That's one. Is your partner's got to be supportive and open to all this, because if he or she ain't, it's gonna be hard
No,
for you to take this journey.
you can't do it unless they come with
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
do couples
Yeah.
coaching, so
Yes. And so that's step one. She was supportive. She was like, go ahead and do your spiritual thing. I support that. Boom. I told her about having multiple organ or extended sexual response. And she was just like, so you can't, she just like my homeboy, so you came a whole bunch? I was like, no, I didn't actually physically come. However, it was the same feeling, my head to toe, very sensitive. And all the other responses I was having, veins in my arm. And I just remember seeing just white around me, closing my eyes and feeling like I ascended to something high. And so I just remembered that. And she was just like, that's beautiful. I was like, I know. Like, give me some of this ass. I'm horny as fuck. Let's go. And so now we fucking.
That's how it goes. That really is how it goes. It
It
be holy
will
fuck
have
real
you
quick
horny as
and dirty
fuck.
real quick.
And so now we fucking, and it happened again. And she noticed something different in the way I was moving,
Mhm,
in the way I was
mhm,
moaning.
mhm.
And I kept moaning and it kept going. And she's like, oh, that's that's a full butt. That's a okay. She's like, okay, I need to help you get this again.
She liked it, didn't
And it was fun for
she?
her, and it
Yeah,
was fun for me because it was a trade-off. I
yeah.
wanted to do her like that. And I did a table work on her, and she needed some work. She has a lot of chakras that are closed. She has a lot of she's very heady. And
Mhm,
so she didn't actually have multiple orgasms like that, but had we have stayed together and I kept working
mhm.
on her, she definitely would have. But the good times was we made it an effort to make sure that the both of us had orgasms,
That's
and
beautiful.
we made the effort to try to get to the high level orgasms with each other,
That's
and that's a beautiful
beautiful.
thing.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And like family, it's not have something you have to do every single time, but it is a real. It's something that brings couples together for sure. And then just like knowing, so a couple things. Like when I was single, one of my shallow reasons for wanting to get into tantra was because if I could perform to this particular level, it's going to be hard for a dude to find a replacement. So even if you went out there looking for somebody, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to come on home. So I ain't really got to worry about that, right? And then at the same time, if we're hitting new levels, how are we going to get bored with each other? You see what I'm saying? It's not redundant. So as Greg is willing to open up and he's experienced more versions of himself, he's gonna be able to show up in different ways in the bed. Same thing with me. As I grow and I learn more, I become more of a woman in however many ways. I'm gonna show up totally different. And each one of those adds a different component to the sexual relationship and the relationship in general. And it makes things a little bit deeper, right? So when you guys get to the point where if you doing this type of stuff, like what you just explained, if you have that kind of practice, you are going to be your partner's best lover. You see what I'm saying? If you make it your goal to be the best lover your partner ever had, no matter who your lover is, be the best lover they ever had, you guys are not going to get tired of each other, right? And going in that is going to open you up to new experiences where you might get into experiencing maybe BDSM or kink if you're not already looking into that, or trying different things because now you're like we're on a journey of experience of pleasure for each other, but we have the discipline and the respect for each other to not throw any ingredient into this pot that's going to make it taste bad. So therefore we're having energetic sex now. I need to be careful about who I deal with. So therefore, my odds of stepping out is different because beyond the fact that this person does not know how to give multiple body orgasms and they don't know how to move energy and none of this stuff like this, they might also have some energetic parasites that I don't got to worry about over here. That can now throw off the chemistry of my household, chemistry of my mind, my body, my pH, this and that, and my partner's confidence and his sense of this and that. He ain't gonna know where the fuck that shit came from. So now none of this makes good mathematical sense, and our bond is much stronger. You know what I mean? It's just good stability for the family. This is where culture came from. Like the family unit is the basis of all communities, right? If the man and the woman can't get together and make a family, there is no community. There is no propagation of whatever else.
Absolutely.
So the way we harmonize energy has always been a um a tenet of everybody's culture. And that's where this particular tantra comes from. We are recovering the lost information from all of the ancestors that whose information is not readily available, right? So whether you are African and this and that, or whether you're from Siberia and your stuff is not, each of those types of people had cultures and they had ways that men and women work together and the ways to get the best out of it, right? So this is not new. This is how we're designed. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? And I just think it's about time that we tap into it to get more out of it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What do you think society looks like when we have more spaces like uh, grand trine or temples that are teaching men and women how to do this? What does society look like?
You know, if people don't be weird about it, right? Because the human variable is always incalculable, right? If people actually did the self monitoring that goes along with it, and we're doing this energetic thing, I'm not going to say a utopia, but it will be much more sci-fi than we're having right now. Like, how people thought in 1985 was going to be like in 2000, the year 2000, 2020, they thought it would be flying around like the Jetsons or some shit. But if we were to add this energetic situation, then it would be more like that, right? Because we would be able to communicate without words. We would be able to sense certain things. And I would think that we would have a little bit better, because I'm a devil's advocate, because some people are always going to do negative things, right? So, you're going to be able to read energy. You're going to be able to manipulate people. So there's going to be a clan of people doing that and a group of people doing this and this and that. It'll just be, child, I don't know if it'd be better or not. Hell, it just sounds like
Yeah, yeah. There's always a, just like there's good, there's
every
always bad. There's a
time.
balance of all that. But you were just talking about us communicating without talking. Like we do that now. We do that now. But it would definitely ascend right to a different level. And I wonder how that would be. Like just to have different levels of conversations without verbally doing that. That just seems so amazing.
Absolutely. The one thing that would be really fascinating to see, because this type of work, so the Tantra body work that we're talking about, family, is designed to help you get back to your original DNA blueprint. And the work that I'm doing is designed to help you tap into the reason why you came here, right? So all the spirit stuff we're talking about, all the orgasm, all of that stuff is designed to help you get more energy, more information, and resources for you to find out who you really are and why you're really here. So if 60% of the population was able to find out why they were really here and then do that, that would be like, that might make us like a first consciousness civilization, like in the multiverse, for that many people of a population to actually be in line with their purpose and be able to follow through and have the mastery to do it. That the oppression, the overall governmental oppression would have to change. They'll find a new way of doing that. But yeah, I'm very excited to see people tap into their destiny, into their purpose, And I know right now, the year that we're living in, probably like, maybe like the next 10 years, this year, 10 years, and 10 years before, it's going to be known as the new Black Renaissance. Do you see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, the type of minds that are coming out, the information, the things that we were doing. Like, I was at Investfest, like I said, I was at the Gathering of the Masters. I was at a bunch of different things over the last couple months of Black people doing beautiful stuff. You see what I'm saying? And we are living the dreams of our ancestors. And we are dreaming too, and our children will live the dreams of our dreams, right? And all the things we're fighting for, all the gifts that I'm unlocking within myself, my grandchildren will be able to do it in their sleep. You see what I'm saying? And that's scary and exciting. So, yeah, I just dream the dream, right?
Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
Yeah, that's my idea. My superpower is imagination. Yeah.
we coming we coming to the end. I think it's going to shut off on us in about 10 minutes, but that doesn't mean we have to go. But if you want to give us some lasting words or anything like that,
Oh,
uh,
man. Uh,
anything to hit us with. I do want to say again, thank you for taking time out because I called you today to talk about. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think I probably already mentioned that, but I called you today to talk about the book, and I was going to go a little bit deeper, a lot of bit deeper into how you really opened me up to the understanding of what multiple orgasms actually were for penis owners, for men, right? And so, and I'm going to compare that against sex. So in my book, people understand that here's sex, but here's sex energy. Here's the difference. They can coexist, and it's so beautiful. But there is a big difference, and you have to understand what that looks like for a better quality of
absolutely.
life. And so,
Absolutely.
um, so I called you for that, and then we talked about opening up my house for rituals in the future, uh, and I would love to do that and bring out table work for the community. Anybody that, well, not anybody that wants to have it. It's definitely going to be closed off. I ain't just letting anybody in this thing. But
Right.
a lot of people that want to go through and have the experience of what it feels like to get on the table
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
get brought to high level orgasms. I want that. It's something society absolutely needs to have more of. And so, yeah. And so you just saying that, let's continue to process this and talk about it. That just got me hyped up. I'm ready, man. So,
Yeah, let's
uh,
do it. I'm
yeah,
trying my best to
bring
build
that
this
to
stuff out.
Texas. Yeah.
I
Bring
Well,
that
I
to
do
Texas.
container, I do rituals, I do all of those things. I do workshops, I'm here to show the people what I got
Yeah.
and or what they have, to be
Yeah.
honest. And but to answer your question, I forgot I have a basic tantric bodywork class where I'm just showing you guys how to move energy. All the woo-woo stuff is not in there. But if you do like the woo-woo stuff, I also have the shamanic tantric bodywork class. And if you take that class, you can send it as many times as you want whenever I do the live, and you get a discount to the intensive that we're having next year. And then I also have an energy sensing class. It's a short workshop. It's maybe like an hour and a half, whatever else. So all these things are on my site at AdaraMoselle.com. You can find a link in my bio. Follow me, all of that, and yeah, private sessions, workshops. Follow me, fam.
Let's get it. Do you have any questions for me before we go?
I mean, I do actually. Like, how much time are they going to
If
cut us off for an hour?
if it cuts us off, we can cut this thing back on and continue
I
talking. I'm
want
I'm good.
to know about stuff from the men's perspective, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I only have certain perspectives. So when you did like the 7-star class. What classes you take?
I can't remember. Yeah, I did do the 7-star
Okay,
class,
you got
but yeah,
to
yeah.
learn the body work and stuff like that. So when did you realize there was something to it, like the whole energetic tantra thing?
Excellent question. Y'all gave us a lot of historical events that happened that you need to start digging deep to find. Um, Looking at a number of religious perspectives, looking at Jesus, looking at the Nation of Islam, uh, looking at the higher powers that be that control the banks and all that stuff there. How did they get to power? How did they maintain power? It's all rooted in the 7-star system, but it's all tantric based. It's
Yeah,
they're assuming a lot of that power, but they're not using it for good. And that's kind of what
exactly,
we were just talking about earlier. Is
exactly,
when people get
exactly.
exposed to this, they'll understand their purpose and their power. We need that for good, but there are people that want to assume it. And
Yeah.
there was a clip you put on, and I think it was Master Sifu. I forgot his name, but he was talking about how the old heads in the temples would teach folks that wanted to learn about these spaces so that they can have a better quality of life.
Hmm.
The old masters and beautiful minds gave it to folks and just
Hmm.
gave it. It was out of abundance and opening their hearts. And
Hmm.
people just ran off with it and did some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird how greed is affecting folks. But we can't be afraid of those people because there's so many good things. There's so many people that are out here building defenses for themselves and other people and enjoying
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I learned through Master Yao when he was talking about the history of these men that assumed the power. I was like, man, and it kind of sounds like some superhero shit.
Yeah.
What if we did this for good, right? What if we did this so we can all have a beautiful life? And so that probably was like a month in. And then when I came to the actual plant-based ceremony, I was like, I've never had this experience. And that was life changing for me. I kept coming back. I think I only missed one because I had a situation going on and I couldn't. And so, but I made everything that y'all opened up. I made sure my ass was right on out there in ATL with y'all, and I soaked up everything. And so I really have you to thank for that.
Mhm.
Uh, the application part of it, right? Just to
Mhm.
actually feel and apply my knowledge. And I have Master Yao to thank because he really painted a picture as to how you can go from Sahu, which is the regular folks, to Ab,
Mhm.
just through Grand Trine and through the 7-star system and through these experiences that you, Adara, set up. And and then, we would love to reach a bi level, but I would never reach a bi level. That's you could probably do that, and other folks, if you could do that, you can do that. You have done that, and other folks would definitely need to work so hard to do it. But that's as long as I maintain ob, I'm good.
Yeah.
And so just through his teachings and your plant-based ceremony is when I knew this shit was real. And then I went through the rabbit hole. I started googling other folks out there that's done things. I started looking at other tantra masters and seeing what they've done and what they brought from the temples over to America. Yeah. So Master Yao with the 7-star system, his teachings with that, and then uh, really you with this. And I remember I was going through a divorce, and that's why I couldn't make that one ceremony. So I was going through the divorce, and it hit me so hard. And I remember crying on ceremony. And
Mhm.
I just let all that shit. It was an ugly cry. I mean, you ever had an ugly cry when you were a baby? I had an ugly cry as an adult. I let all that shit out,
Mm.
and I let all the anger out. I let all the frustration, all the confusion, um, and it got to a point where I realized this is the space where love is, and I need to maintain that, and maintain that in my own space, and also keep coming back and loving on my tribe as well. And so that's when I realized that this was real.
That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. I oftentimes don't really have all the words to convey to men, like the things that they get out of this. I can always, because I'm always aware of the impact that women could have on men, and I don't want men to feel like I'm always telling them that they're wrong, they got to get fixed or something like that. Like we all got to get fixed a little
Yeah,
bit, whatever. But when a brother's telling them about it, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then it's nice to see that y'all have spaces for each other. You see what I'm saying? So when you guys can like share these kind of experiences or coach each other, especially like the younger men, like how to deal with themselves around women. And as you have this new perspective of dealing with energy, has the ways you dealt with women like changed? Like the way you pick up women, has that changed at all? Like,
It it has and it hasn't. I'm able to
mhm.
see better quality and safer women. I'm able to feel that, right? And so, but that doesn't mean ain't shit women don't come,
Oh, sure, I'm
right?
sure.
Because
Yeah.
after that, my antenna, right, it sits on radio waves, and I got a lot of ain't shit women, but I was able to see it before they hit.
Yeah.
I was able to see them.
Yeah.
And now, my issue wasn't that I could make a good decision. It was maintaining odd, right? And so when I'm not doing that, then I'm going with the ain't shit women, right? And
Hmm.
then we're doing whatever. But since that, um, I only had one ain't shit woman.
Yeah.
And never again. Oh God, never again. And so,
Oh,
but I can see it before it happens. I can see them coming, and I don't open myself up. If you see me with a partner, my current partner now, she's not an ancient woman. She's a good woman. But it's like before her, women that I've dated or anything like that, and before my last girlfriend who was an ancient woman, uh, it was a lot of good women that weren't ready, and I can't say that they're ancient because there's a lot of good women out here. Yeah, if I were to put a percentage on it, there's more good women than ain't shit.
yeah.
Just really, but we just vibrate to the ain't shit energy, and so we can't see it, we can't feel it, but here you can feel that, and you can say, nah, I'm good on that, right? And so, but that through and through allowed me to see it, and it wasn't until I learned how to do qigongs and meditation and feeling my own energy that I can get and muster enough energy to say, I'm straight on this, or I go. You're right.
Yeah.
I'll date them
Yeah.
just to kind of feel them out and say, huh. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm a bow out. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's not working for me.
You know, that's one thing I was going to mention a little bit earlier, but it kind of slipped my mind was that one thing I will say, my ability to read people just in general, like the average handsome man or something. Like if I'm sitting at a bar, I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute because, you know, I'm a Leo. I'm a flirt now. I'm a flirt like I need a bag of chips, nigga. I'm a flirt, right? So, it's just fun to me. I enjoy the dance, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I think I might talk to whoever this person is, maybe. But then somebody like, I don't know, I might need to wait and just see something. And as soon as I have that thought or that feeling, then they say something to let the cat out of the bag that they're either stupid or that's not the person I need to be talking to, or they're not worth my time, or they're gonna take us somewhere I don't want to go.
Yeah.
You know, all of that. Because when I started doing this work and my energy started changing, the type of compliments I got changed, the type of attention I get from men changed. I get very positive attention from men. You see what I'm saying? Even when they're like sniffing and stuff, it's very respectable sniffings. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying. They know I got a man. You know what I'm saying? They acknowledge the fact that I look however I look that day, and you know he lucky, and just leave it at that. Right? It's not a bunch of weirdness like it used to be, man. Because I dated a lot of ain't shit, man. I was talking to somebody, and I was like, man, I had to do some rituals. Like, I need a partner because this ain't working. Because they in Atlanta is a whole other thing. And I hit the rock bottom of it. I was telling somebody at the intensive, I went out with a dude that had a tentacle. I didn't even know he had a tentacle until I got there. We were walking down the street, Little Five Points, close to where I saw you that day on the street. I don't know if you remember. You were a little close to there, down that little side street. We were walking, and he's walking in front of me. We met online, and we turned the corner, and I see this little thing flick up, and I was like, I did not. I could not have possibly fucking seen a tentacle. God, I'm trying to find a husband. You did not bring me out. It had suction cups on it and everything, right? He was disabled. So he anime fan, fashion a tentacle, whatever else. But I was like, man, this ain't gonna work. And I said that to say that I've had just some very. But when I started getting to my energy right and like really tapping into my femininity, all of those things changed. And though my relationship is not perfect, it was really effing good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm very happy with what's going on. And I'm more happy with the fact that I know that it can grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think part of that ain't shitness that we're talking about or that you're talking about might be the fact that no matter what you do for this woman, she's not gonna grow. No matter whatever jewel you give her or seed you plant is gonna fall on dead ground, and that soil is infertile. You know, and it's important because I think that nobody taught us how to choose partners. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And a lot of we need classes on it, and nobody told us how to choose partners. But then people want to tell us that marriage doesn't work, relationships don't work, this and this and that. But nobody really tells us the dynamics of these things. And when we add energetics to it, the dynamics just come that much clearer. So you can see that this person just may not be for you, or how to adjust it, or how to keep things copacetic. You know, so that's really really good. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
I also want to add
yeah,
this. I remember she was a good woman. But it just didn't work. I remember doing table work on a partner I was dating for a little bit. It was short lived. And she went out to the club and she was like, after you did table work on me, niggas was all over me. I was like, I usually get guys that approach me, but it was like, I don't know if you rang a bell. As soon as I hit the door, they was on me.
mm-hmm.
I was like, well, it looks like it's working.
Yeah, it really is wafting off of you.
Yeah.
Like after I do sessions and go, because my office is right across from Walmart. If I can do a session, and go to Walmart.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere. It's wafting. Don't let it be been a sexy session, child. Yeah, they feel the femininity coming off of you, and most women don't have that vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and most men don't have that vibe. They're just people walking about, but when somebody's like literally shining from the inside out, it's something that's captivating. You
That's
can't
right.
help it.
That's right.
Damn. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I could ask you 1,000 more questions, but I know you have to work and stuff, so I'll let you
Let's do
go.
one before I go.
Okay. Okay. So since you've been doing this work, because I'm into, men holding space, if you will. Are you into BDSM and kink at all?
Uh, we well, I can say this as a sex therapist, I love all that space, right? So,
Okay.
uh, so yes, I'm into it. But when it comes to BDSM, and I'm not educating you, I'm not. This is not time to, but I'm just.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just my belief and what I feel. I think everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a range,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So if you having sex with your partner and you like holding her hands down while you're making love and she enjoys that
That's
with
strange.
consent, let me just put that out there. We want folks be like, "Oh, great, talking about some crazy shit." With consent, you holding
Yeah.
her hands down, right,
Mm-hmm.
to make love, and that's what heightens your sexual experience. That's a form of it.
Yeah,
That's a
it
form of
is.
it. If
It
you
is.
want to put a blindfold on, that's a form of it. That's so. Those are respectfully, I would say the lower levels. I don't want to shame anybody for any kind of level or whatever. But the little stuff like that, I love to do. I love grabbing. I love
Mm-hmm.
holding, and I love her to, talk shit, do all this other stuff, slap me, hit me,
Mm-hmm.
and I love all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so yes, I'm into it, but I'm not like so deep into it that I like to be flogged or anything like that to reach top space level through those means. I'm not into that.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, so we're saying like the whole holding space for people into the man's ability to, I don't want to say contain a woman, but like keep her in a space where you're dominant. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, has your ability to be able to quote unquote shift a woman into a submissive state changed, or have you been able to like, you see
yeah,
what I'm getting at a little bit?
it has. First and foremost, that's confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And standing on your square, knowing who you are and how you present, just like we were talking about earlier, is looking at your purpose and finding that. And you can definitely do that through these spaces. And so understanding your position with self helps you communicate with your partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if she's feeling that confidence and she's saying, "A man knows what he's doing," right? And
Mm-hmm.
he's feeling himself. Now you're having the opportunity to go ahead and put her in a space where she can receive and
Mm-hmm.
be more into her feminine, right? And be more into the places where, okay, baby, I'll get in this position, or I'll do that for you, and it's fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're enjoying that. It's a state of happiness. It's a state of gratitude. It's a number of other things. But when you're confident and you're standing on your square, and you know that you can bring your woman to a level of pleasure and bliss and all these other things, yes, I have been
Mm-hmm.
able to command and do those things. But I will say this, and I have to be honest with my brothers. It's the state I'm in now is a beautiful state, but it's kind of frustrating. My my practice is booked, so I'm working a hell of a lot. So I have to manage my time because all day long, I'm like, how am I going to get this money? Okay, how am I going to do that? Right? And it's not so much of what am I going to do with her tonight? How am I going to fuck the shit out of her? How am I going to make love with her? How am I going to put her in this position so we can both enjoy it?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to approach her with? So when I'm at a point where it's more about business than pleasure with my woman and myself, it is harder to put her to for me to express myself in that way and to be dominant. And so self-care, meditation, qigongs is very important, but also getting out of that mind state of a scarcity mindset. Because when you're in scarcity, you're operating fully in scarcity, that's high stress. And like you said, high
Mm-hmm.
stress, low libido. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
get out of that scarcity mindset. And this is how life is for me. I ask God for this, for me to have a book practice. But I'm gonna have people working under me, and it's not gonna be as stressful soon. But
Yeah.
this is just a necessary process for me to grow. And that's just the reality of it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be the woman's job to definitely like just chill and let you do what you're supposed to be doing.
yeah,
And then, there's some people that be like, making her wait will also be a dominant practice as well. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, baby, you're gonna get it. You sit down, be quiet. You're gonna get it when it's time to get it, and just be ready for that. Be
yeah,
right. But right now, daddy's doing this type of energy.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And my last
That's
question
good.
is, just for guys, and for the women, if you're speaking to a woman who is unsure about surrendering, trusting the man, he's a good man, he's never hurt her, and that you're in a reasonable relationship, but she's just not sure about letting herself go and surrendering in certain ways. As the man that's dating that woman, what would you say to her in a scenario where you are putting her into space and letting her know she has permission to be submissive and you're taking that role?
Conversation first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we need to understand what submit even sounds like, right? Before you can even fathom getting into it. Just like what we were talking about earlier. When I realized these spaces in Tantra was real, y'all had to give me the education of
Mm-hmm.
understanding the power of what comes with these spaces with energy. And then I had to have a dope ass sister like you to help me with the application. So I'm going to talk to her about surrendering, but I'm also going to show her. And in these spaces, I'll have to show a woman that I'm able to surrender to. We can both surrender to this thing. We can both submit to this, and it's going to be beautiful. And as we submit, this is my role. This is how I want to do it. This is what makes me thrive. What makes you thrive? What makes you be the highest sexual person when it comes to us having sex? What do you need to do? How do you need to do
Mm-hmm.
it? Right? So I'm going to tell her this is how I'm going to thrive in this, and this is what I want to make you do. I want to make you have this orgasm. I want to make us have this. I want us to have a healthy relationship. How do you see us having a healthy relationship? How do you see us having healthy sex? I need to make sure that I can also meet her where she's at. And if I can't, get the fuck up out of there. Let another nigga do it. Somebody else step in, right? Because I'm wasting her time. And
Yeah.
so it has to start with the conversation and understanding. And so I think a lot of people feel like he looks like this, he sounds like this, oh, he can make me do this. But if the energy's not right, it's just not.
It just ain't right. It ain't hitting, baby.
It's just not.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
remember there's a psychologist out there, a good friend of mine named Dr. Rael. He talks about the
Mm-hmm.
psychology of flirting. He talks about the psychology of a kiss, of actually holding people. There's actual things that happens when you cuddle folks, right? Oxytocin, all these other
Yep.
things.
Yep.
But what people don't know is your body is constantly surveying the other person when you're in love with them or you're dating them,
Yep.
just through a kiss.
Yep.
In your saliva, your body is checking for the other person.
Yeah.
Like, nah, nigga, this ain't it for you. And if you're not in tune with your body and you're not listening to yourself, you're going to miss those messages. And so, when it comes to having a woman surrender, you have to listen to yourself first, has to have a conversation with woman, and you have to make sure that y'all can meet each other where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you can, then we can start. Then we can talk about how we can apply all the nasty things, on all the necessary things to help you
Mm-hmm.
surrender. What
Yeah.
do I need to do? Do I need to cuddle you, right? Or do we have to? Do we need to have? And I had this with my partner the other day. We at the edge of the bed. We're in the yab yum, and we did a lot of breathing exercises. And I just made sure I made the foundation for the masculine foundation, and she was there for the feminine energy, and we
Mm-hmm.
just had a beautiful moment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so doing a lot of things like that let us know that we are there for each other, that we're present for each other. A lot of people may have abandonment issues and don't know how it feels for a person to be present. And if you can be present for them, you're opening you're opening your partner up. But you don't know that if you don't have a conversation.
Yeah.
So educate yourself, conversation, understanding your energy, and then give all the healthy, beautiful things to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because different women surrender differently,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was totally different. And that's real beautiful. And I love that. And it just kind of speaks to something I was listening to earlier. And just like what you're speaking about to women, like I don't think women realize that men are on their side. And I don't think men realize that the average woman is on your side. Like,
Yeah.
don't believe what the media tells you that we all are mad at men and we're all this and all the men want to dominate you and this and that. The average brother, he may not be perfect. He's going to make some mistakes and stuff like that. But in general, he wants to see you happy. He wants to see you pleased. He wants to give you the things that you're asking for. And he wants to be a good man in your eyes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's built into how men
Yeah.
are, right? How they express that and what they do to do that may be flawed and this and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's that. And I think for women, it's the same thing. We want to see our man happy. We want to see him peaceful and comforted and satisfied and loved. Like, we want to see that, at least for me and
Yes.
most of the same women that I know. We want that, right? And I just like being part of the balancing conversation when it comes to all this man versus woman trash.
Perfectly stated. And it has to be balanced because when you and I get off of here and we get on Instagram, it's going to be a lot of bullshit. It's going to be more bullshit that we're going to be able to see than the healthy conversations to create balance between bullshit and healthy, right? And so we don't know, men or women, we don't know ain't shit from the good people. We can't tell the difference because we're so exposed to toxicity all the time.
All the time. All the time. All the time. Yeah. So this has been beautiful. If you ever want to do this again, let me know. I'll be around, child.
For sure.
I'll be around on Tuesday specifically.
For sure. I have a podcast with another sex therapist and a friend of mine, and we're talking about ED. And I'm going to talk to men about, having ED, getting out of the scarcity mindset or the healthy part of it or the unhealthy parts that's leading to ED, but really just making sure that you have a foundation and a connection with your partner so that you can decrease ED moments.
Yeah.
We're just missing that between man and woman, right? We're fighting. We're fighting so much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Let's do that. We're gonna get it together though.
that's
I'm
right.
optimistic.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Feel free to tag me in this live so I can save it. I know some people asked me about that. And we're gonna do this again. Oh, yeah. Give me my classes. Basic tantric body work, shaman tantric body work, energy tension. I do online and in-person sessions. I'm local to Atlanta. Hit me up, family. Hit me up.
Thank you for tuning in, folks. We're going to be having more conversations like this soon, as Adara and I were just talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to have these conversations to create balance.
Yeah.
To create balance, we need more healthy and fun
Yeah.
conversations. Let's move the needle forward in society. All right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
If you are my friend on my friends list or whatever, make sure you like Adara's page. Adara's friends, please come on over. It's all a beautiful family. It's all love. Let's do this, and I'll see y'all soon.
See you. Good night.